Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of Paul Brown Show. We're shooting live from the Ronald McDonald House, and I have my special guest, Miss Kathy Papadimitriou.
Dimitriou.
I
Excellent.
apologize.
No, you did a great job. Most people don't say my name right. It doesn't matter.
Thank you.
People call me KP. So
KP.
please call me KP, Paul.
Thank you, ma'am. Tell the audience a little bit first about yourself.
Me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh goodness, this is my best job ever. I was in corporate for a long time. I did can't even speak today. I did experiential marketing for years and years, over 30 years, and came home because unfortunately my daddy wasn't well and wanted to spend some time with him. So I took a sabbatical and was helping my little sister open her bakery business, and during that helped Ronald McDonald do a fundraiser, and in that for my sister's business, and in that process met a bunch of people here. And so when the job became available, I applied. Best job I've ever had. I grew up in Charleston. I'm from Charleston, so I always knew I was going to come home. It was just a question of when, you know. And I think my daddy inspired me, and I haven't looked back.
That's great. Tell the audience a little bit about Ronald McDonald House Charities of Charleston.
Thank you. So next year, in 2023, we will actually be 40 years old. I know, it's amazing. So this house didn't even exist when I was growing up. The charity is very interesting. It started in the late 70s in Philadelphia. And there was an oncologist there helping children with cancer. And she was asked by the Philadelphia Eagles, what can I do to help you? And she said, build me a house. And so the wonderful Philadelphia Eagles, the manager there, started a telethon. And the very first corporation who came forward was McDonald's. And the irony of the story is it wasn't McDonald's corporate, it was the franchise owners in that city. And they started raising money for the house. So we call McDonald's our mission sponsor, which is why we bear their name. And they continue to contribute to this day to the charity. The local franchise owners obviously can elect to support their local communities or not. And we've always been very blessed here in Charleston. Our owner-operators always are part of this house. And so that's kind of the background. What happened is, for us in Charleston specifically, Dr. Darby, Charles Darby, who is also the founder of the Children's Hospital here, knew he had done his residency in Boston and knew that he wanted pediatrics for the state of South Carolina the way that he saw it up north. So he came home and he was determined that he was going to build a children's hospital and have a Ronald McDonald House alongside of it. And the irony of the story is we predate the children's hospital because he went to the state and asked for the funding for the children's hospital. And Mrs. Darby told me the story that they turned him down, and he was so upset. And she said, honey, don't worry, we'll just start with the Ronald House. So they started the fundraising for us, and they actually built us first. And so we started in the late 70s too, fundraising, and actually opened our doors in 1981. So started as a 12-bedroom house, grew through the years. In 2005, 2006, they doubled the size of the house. We went to 25 bedrooms, and then along the way, 217, 218, they took out every porch, every little extra anything, and we got to 32 bedrooms. So today we're 32 bedrooms.
Why do you feel like there's a need for such a awesome organization like Ronald McDonald House?
A family, when they have a seriously ill child, it really disrupts the family unit. And I don't care if you have great insurance, because by the time the emotional toll of getting that child well comes into play, and the expenses that you may have to remodel a bathroom for a wheelchair or whatever it is, I mean, it really adds up. So for a very short period of time, no matter how blessed you are going into this equation, everybody needs a little help. And that's what Ronald McDonald House Charities is for. It's just for a very short period of time to become an extension of that family, and the community to be an extension of that family, and to help them get through something and hopefully get that child well so that they have an opportunity to live a very fulfilling life. So it's an honor to work for the charity, I have to tell you, Paul.
So as far as the families, what are some of the ways they get into the Ronald McDonald House? What's the qualifications, or what?
Great question. Great question. People ask me that all the time. We actually here in Charleston went digital last year. With COVID coming down our back, we thought we would take that opportunity to study some of our technology and make things simpler for families. So really all you have to do is go to our website and fill out a referral form, a waitlist form, and then we send it on to the hospital to validate that in fact, you know, your child does need medical services. And that really begins the process. The challenge for us right now in Charleston is we just don't have enough bedrooms. I have an extensive waiting list. Okay. So as the rooms become available, we call the families daily and let them know that we have availability, and it's based on the illness of the child. So it's not necessarily based on the distance or the most ill, critical children come in first, and so forth. And once you're in, you stay with us as long as you need to be here.
Now this blueprint that you have over here, is this...
This is my wish list. This is our vision.
Tell the audience a little bit about your wish
list.
This
is the current house that we're in now.
Yes, ma'am.
Which you can see was built in a very historical Charleston tradition of a single family house. Probably looks very similar to things that you know, Paul. And as you know, this side of the house really backs up into our community. So we're very much a neighborhood, and there's a big park here that we have a great advantage to. That parking lot right now that belongs to Hollings Cancer, across the street, Hollings Cancer, we have the rights based on our lease with MUSC to move into that parking lot. And I consider us kind of the bridge between the medical community and the neighborhood. So this side will face Calhoun, and this is our future. I think we've got some real challenges with the current house. Hurricanes, flood zone, I can go on and on and on, you don't want me to. But we are good stewards of this building, and we think we can get 15 more years out of this building. So our idea is to build this, to take some of the burden off of us here. This will be about 55 bedrooms. It will be much more in the family-centered care, best practice styles that we know of. So everybody will have their own bathroom, dedicated bathroom. We're still in that old dormitory style. You know, I want you to picture 2 twin beds, and down the hall, there's a bathroom everybody uses. That's really where we are. We've corrupted a lot of our communal space in this building just to survive, because we wanted to get as many bedrooms as possible in this footprint. By today's standards, this should be 14 bedrooms, and it's 32. So in this building, we'll be a little bit more, imagine more of like a little comfort inn, you know, yes, two double beds, two queen beds. We'll see what we can afford. And then a little area where you can have coffee, you know, kitchen that everybody shares, laundry, of course, playroom for the children of the different ages. We used to have that, and now it's kind of all in one, all children of all ages together. So we're very excited. It's our wish list for the future, and it's something we desperately need. The stats tell us, Paul, that we should be 55 bedrooms today, yes, and we're 32. So, and we have to share bathrooms. So when things like COVID came along, that was a little bit, we had to limit our capacity. It was really sad because we just couldn't keep people safe.
So what will it take for Ronald McDonald House to get to that stage right there?
Well, we're really very organized. We've been working on this for years. We've had planning studies and community task force to help design it and cost it. We have the lease with MUSC to be able to extend into that parking lot till 2075. So we got plenty of time in terms of that. So it's really, we're down to funding now.
Okay.
We've just got to find the funding and then get our final design approved by the city of Charleston, and we can get going. Take us about a year to build it.
And that's a real big need right there that we need that.
Paul, I have to tell you, we in a non-COVID year, we put a little less than 1,000 families through the house. But here's the sad thing: we turn away over 500. 550, I think, was the last number I looked at annually. You have to remember, MUSC Children's Hospital, Sean Jenkins, is the primary facility that we serve here in Charleston, and it is the Children's Hospital of South Carolina. A lot of the specialists are here in Charleston. So no matter where you live in South Carolina, chances are, if your child's really seriously sick or you need one of those specialists, you've got to come here for a period of time. And because Charleston's so popular, nobody can afford, a family can't afford to come and spend a night in a hotel every night for weeks on end. It's just not doable. So absolutely, we need to expand. And the other thing you have to remember is we're not the only, MUSC is not the only, it is the primary facility we serve, but we have people at Palmetto Behavioral. Somebody might have a car accident and end up at Roper, and so we will take care of them. So it really is, it's critical for us. Mm-hmm.
So for the people, for our viewing audience to really comprehend what this is, for the waiting list that you have, how many do you normally have, families do you have like on a waiting list, and what does it,
What does it entail?
Correct.
It's a great question. Prior to the new Children's Hospital opening, we had an average of 16 families on the waiting list daily. So that would be 16 we'd have to turn away daily. Now, when we built that Children's Hospital, or when it finally opened, it's a beautiful facility. If you haven't had the opportunity to see it yet, we'll have to get you over there. We have now in the children's facility the ability, those pull-out couches, so a single parent can stay, with the family or with the child if necessary. We didn't have that in the old children's hospital. So our numbers in theory should have declined for a period of time. We should have bought ourselves some time for this fundraising. Do you know what I mean? And it just hasn't played out that way. This is Christmas week. In theory, the hospital is trying to push people out so that they can go home and have, not have their electoral surgeries this week, so they can all go home and have some family time. And I'm full, and I've got 4 people on the waiting list for tomorrow. So that time we thought we were buying to be able to do this fundraising so we could do that expansion, I'm a little worried. I think we're ahead of schedule. The Children's Hospital it's kicking butt and it's doing great things, which is wonderful. But we need to keep current with them, so we're doing our jobs.
Why is it so important that the parents have the ability to be with their child?
Oh my gosh, there are white papers and studies about this. First of all, legally, the parent has to speak for the child, right? Make decisions. So let's go down there and let's go down that path. But the true answer is they're going to heal faster if they have somebody around them that they know and they trust going through that process. So you need to keep the family together as much as possible during that time. The interesting thing is most people forget about the siblings. When somebody's critically ill in your family, and you may not have an aunt or an uncle who can, take over temporarily, or a grandmother that you can be dropped off, it's the siblings that then miss soccer practice, or the siblings then that don't have somebody to take them to school. And so there's periods of time when those children's lives are already extremely disrupted because their siblings in the hospital. They need to be here with us too. I had a young woman just this week. I answered the back door, and beautiful, beautiful young woman. Has to be 11th grade, high school maybe. And she came in and she had a tub full of things for the house. Toys for the kids for Christmas. It was just cookies, just things. And I looked at her and I said, thank you so much. Come, let's fill out the donation so we can send you a thank you note. And she came in and she said, I said, why did you do this? How did you choose us? There's so many great charities. Why the Ronald McDonald House? And she said, well, it's not just from me. It's from my high school. I organized a drive to help y'all. And I'm bringing, on behalf of the drive, the whole high school down here of these items. And she said, and honestly, I put Ronald McDonald forward because when I was growing up, y'all made my life palatable. And I looked at her and I said, I don't understand. And she said, well, my sister was very ill. And through a series of procedures, we ended up in 3 different Ronald McDonald houses across the country. And she said, I would come home from school to the Ronald McDonald House, and there would be other kids for me to play with, and it was okay because I was able to do that there. Or I had people around me who would try to make it fun for me because really everything else had to be concerned about my sister, so my sister would get through. And when I said, well, how's your sister today? And she said, she's doing great. And I thought, here's this one young woman, high school, never been to this house, never stepped foot in this house, but she had that feeling from when she lived at the Ronald McDonald in Seattle and in Winston-Salem and in, I think Chicago was the 3rd place where her sister had those procedures. People forget about the siblings. Her whole life was distorted because of what needed to happen for her sister, and rightly so, but still. She ended up having a great experience, and I was very proud of her, very, very proud of her, that she was giving back to the community.
That's awesome. So, KP, how do you deal emotionally with these families that come into your facility, and when they're dealing with so much, of their child, how do you handle that?
How do I survive?
Yes, ma'am.
Not too well sometimes, and other days, you're motivated. It is by far the most rewarding job I've ever had. You can have a horrible day, typical business stuff, right? Check gets lost, something's wrong with bank, 50 people need a deadline tomorrow kind of thing. Somebody yells at you, whatever. And you can walk outside this door and you see these families just fighting to make sure that their children get everything they need so that they have an opportunity to carry on. And it puts everything back in perspective really fast. And I've never had a house dog that jumps in my lap during a meeting or whatever. It's just, or you'll be sitting here, I'll be working on something, and some young, wonderful child will kind of crawl in my office on the floor. I always leave my office open unless I'm on a conference call. And usually the dog hangs out here during the day while the kids are at the hospital. And so they'll come in here and they'll, want to see the dog. It's not what they want to see me. And, they'll come in here to play with him. It's extremely rewarding. Extremely. And I think it keeps you honest, keeps you humble, keeps things in perspective.
Describe that feeling when you see these children not only come in here, but when they leave.
Oh, it's so happy. it's just so you've had this relationship with their family, and you're just so excited for them that there's hope. There's hope, you know, and you're a part of that for a very short period of time. And then it's always interesting to me, the families come back and they give back, but it's not necessarily while they're here, while they're staying here. It's later, they come back and they'll cook for other families, or they'll bring their favorite cookies when they have to come up for a follow-up appointment, or like that young woman, you know, they'll do a fundraiser for us. And then we get to see the children again, and they're great, you know, for the most part. I mean, we do lose children, and when you do, we all feel it. I'm not going to say we don't. But it's very special. And like I said, I'm proud. I'm proud to be a part of it.
Why did God choose you
Oh,
to be blessing these children? You know, I mean, because you're the CEO of Ronald McDonald House in Charleston, and you were blessed by God to do this. Why you, KP?
I have no idea, but I'm so thankful. You know, I grew out of the hospitality, the marketing industry. So, you know, I basically run a little hotel here, right? I mean, if you want to level it, a special hotel. But I think, Paul, maybe the different answer is why I took the job.
Okay.
And I think it answers your question. Weekly activity session where parents of premature children get together, and it's going to sound silly, they play games and they do activities, but it's teaching them or reinforcing what the medical providers have taught them about, sorry, the dog sees the squirrel or something. It teaches them very specifically, reinforces the learning that they need for having a premature child. You know, the developmental issues are extremely important for those. And I've listened to parents who said, "Oh, I've had 3 other children. I don't need this class." They come out of it and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, I learned so much." So if I can have a mother tell me that, I know we're on a path, and we do it in a very fun way. We have an amazing instructor, so it's very fun. So those are some of the auxiliary programs that we run in addition to the house program.
Okay, why is it so important to have a loving staff? Coverage staff.
Why is it so important to have a loving staff? Well, I would say to you that the donors are the organs of our organization. They are the ones who keep us together, and they each contribute in their own way. I would say to you that the volunteers are the heart, and the staff are the blood. They circulate and they just make it happen. Can't do it without the other two. You know, there's just no way. It's not possible. The staff all need to empathize with the families, but at the same time, we need to follow protocols. You know, we need to make sure we keep things clean according to the standards, or follow the process that the medical providers have set for us if there is an emergency in the house. It's an important, well, you know, it's like I said, it's the blood that keeps the whole the whole house circulating. And sometimes that's physically too, if the air conditioner breaks or whatever. You gotta have somebody, you gotta have maintenance, you gotta have it, right? So.
We're running short on time. If our viewing audience want to know more about Ronald McDonald House, how would they go about doing that?
All you have to do is look at Ronald McDonald House Charities of Charleston. We'll pop up on a website where you can pick up a phone and call us directly. We love to have volunteers. Like I said, they're what the heart of this house. Volunteer at rmhcharleston.org. Or like I said, just call us directly, and any one of us will walk you through it. There's all kinds of ways that you can volunteer and help us, or donate. And we're happy to tailor it to what's important to you at that stage of your life. It could just be if you can only take a day off, maybe help us at a golf tournament or something. That's important. Or if you've got extra time, my maintenance manager is always looking for somebody to crawl underneath the house with him. Or, come and help housekeeping, fold laundry. We've got all kinds of things. So we'd love to have you at any time anyway.
KP, time ran by so fast. I really like to come back and talk some more about you. Cause it's, I really,
You're just so sweet.
No, ma'am, I applaud you. I know we ran out of time.
No, I didn't expect to talk about this. That was a blessing. I didn't expect that.
But, hopefully, you allow us to come back and we can talk some more about.
I love that.
Thank you, KP,
No,
for coming
what
on
can I
the
do for you
show.
now?
Oh, we still taping right now.
Oh, you are?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this show. Thank you, Ms. KP,
Thank
and
you.
you be encouraged.